Good morning, Soul Tribe. Sunday morning, I'm doing my walk and talk, and today I'm going to give you instructions on how to handle sort of the eruptions, the explosive nature of what's coming up. When a client comes to me, and by the way, we always need instructions. When we go to the doctor and we're worried and concerned about something, it's so nice when they give us a framework about what's happening. Oh, can you feel them? Can you see the trees in the wind? And they give us instructions on what to do. So we feel embraced by that. We actually feel like something is more certain than uncertain, which makes us very, very anxious. Okay, I hope you can still hear me with that intense wind that's going on. Okay, when a client comes to me, which has been happening more with anxiety, with panics, with sleepless nights, they say, what's going on? We do a few things. We actually go into their trauma reactivation, right? We try and go back. We do a timeline travel. And we identify what the root is, what the remembrance is, all of that. We go back and say, oh, this is what it's triggering inside of me, because it's good to know that it's not just some random thing that's happening, that there's actually a trigger out here that's landing in a place in here, okay? And that place in here, we've been talking about it a lot, is what needs to be brought up to heal, to love, to transform. Okay, so that's number one. When they go home, what's my prescription? And it's a holistic healing, of course, prescription, because I am certified as a holistic healer as well as a psychotherapist. This is what I say to do. The idea when we're in fear or panic or having an anxiety attack, what I want you to picture is that your body is feeling super electric. Just picture, I like to say like a Coke bottle, like a soda that's been shaken up. And so you've got all of these energetic bubbles moving through you, because every feeling is actually an energy. I won't talk about that much here, but there is something that I'm doing that you'll be able to find out more about what that means. So just think that your soda bottle, your body, your energetic molecules inside yourself have been shaken up, and they're quite effervescent, okay? And so you feel extremely electric. Now, usually when it's things that we haven't healed or we haven't worked on, it'll come up spastically, which is what happens with panic attacks. It's like out of the blue, you know, we're going to the metro and we have a panic attack, and then it becomes layered, right? It becomes layered because then you're afraid that you're going to have the panic attack, and then that whole cycle begins and it starts to grow, which means that there are more energetic bubbles going on. Energetic bubbles. Okay. So in holistic healing, one of the things that you want to do is you want to, you know, your body feels like it's buzzing, it's revved up, it's at a high level, which is why we can't sleep. So you want to do things that make you feel weirdly heavier. So for example, that's why we have weighted blankets. Makes you feel nice and heavy. When a child can't go to sleep or is ADHD, you want to give that child massages. Like you want to press, look at like this. You want to press on their legs very gently like this. You want to press. You want to do this type of sensation. It's really delicious, by the way, you guys. So you press on their back. You press on their thighs. You press down, because the experience is they're having a heavy weight on them. And you'll see how that child, or even your partner, as you're trying to go to sleep, right before you go to sleep, your partner does that. just presses down on you. And of course, the body-to-body contact always helps. It feels connective and intimate. But let's say you don't have someone near you. Weighted blankets. So yeah, go buy a weighted blanket or put pillows around you, a body pillow. Again, the idea is that very organic, natural body swaddle. You feel swaddled, right? You feel surrounded. This is super important. It's extremely mammalian and it's extremely human. And it's all part of like human intimacy that helps us co-regulate. And it works. It really works. The other thing to do, and I loved learning this when I was getting my certificate, is eat something heavy. Make a stew over rice. So when my clients call me and they're like, I'm having a panic attack, sometimes they'll say, listen, have a bowl of rice. Protein makes us feel lighter. That's why it's good for working out, right? Rice, which is why we go into sleep comas after Thanksgiving, is because it makes us heavy, it makes us calm, it makes us want to go to sleep. So I like to say, have a bowl of white rice or brown rice, put some sauteed kale on top of it, whatever you want, put whatever you want on it. There's no prescription there. The idea though, and think of the beauty of a bowl of rice, right? Again, it makes you feel heavy. Okay, so, and of course, breathing deep into the root chakra. Hold on, let me just cross the street, you guys, really carefully. Okay, breathing into the root chakra. So, again, in, let's say for 4, out for 8. The trick here, and this works for public speaking, and it works for panic attacks. So it will work for when you're trying to go to sleep, or when you see something on the news, when you feel super scared, when you're talking to people, and they're not saying great things about what's happening on the planet. No one needs to know, right? And in dynamic meditation method, we talk about yes hailing, which I love. I love breathing out by saying, and it gets us nice and quiet, nice and centered. And so those are some of the instructions. There's more, and I'll talk more about what I'm going to put out by the end of the month for everyone for these very tenacious, explosive, revolutionary, seismic times, because it is coming. So let me jump from the human to humanity, from the small to the all really quickly. So, and today is about instructions. It's about prescriptions. A prescription. Okay. So from the human to humanity, it's going to get more wobbly at best, volatile at worst. And it needs to happen. It's when the teenager and the mom in the home finally confronts the abusive father or stepfather. It's when the teenager realizes, hey, I'm big. I'm tall now. We don't have to put up with this anymore. So there is a confrontation, but it's a good one. It's a confrontation about justice, about safety, about taking care of who we love, taking care of other humans. So it's coming. It is coming. Confrontations are coming. We're already seeing them. They're going to pick up. Why do they pick up, my loves? I'll do another post on this. And because you know I have expertise about the narcissist, it picks up because when the narcissist starts feeling like they're losing control, woo, they unravel. And they unravel with all of what they know to do, with violence, with dominance, because that's pretty much all they've got. Right? They unravel with fear, with extreme domination. So that's what they're going to pull out of the hat when the narcissist unravels. And so these are my prescriptions for that. As a humanity, and I'm speaking to the open-hearted people, to the sensitives, which, by the way, we're all born like that, to the empaths. By the way, we're all born empathic. We become empaths, with some of us realize, oh, I'm an empath, which means that I feel energies and feelings in my field. I'm gonna cross the street again, guys. Come with me, come with me. Okay. So, what happens is, there's two things. We make the body heavy as a humanity. We actually ground. We ground. So as the fire goes up, if there's more explosion, it's almost like we fall onto the floor. We ground nice and heavy, which why there will be an uptick on meditation groups. We do this. We lighthouse. We find our center as a humanity. And for the highly sensitives, for the open-hearted humans, for those of you, because it's most of you who feel feelings and energies out there that are afraid that it's going to take you over. This is the deal. What's going to happen is that ability to feel what's outside of you, to feel the fear of others, to feel what maybe their angst or they're moving into spastic action, you're going to feel that more. Meaning, as we become more grounded, our intuition tends to get very, very clean, very, very spot on, very, very targeted. I'm actually waiting a little bit. Well, there's the grass cutter over there. Okay, so the idea there is two things. You are either going to be able to pick up more on the energies around you, and as a humanity, that's what's going to happen, because energy is contagious. It's contagious. So the thing to do is ground, right? Meditation groups, silence and stillness groups, silence and stillness practices, dropping into the self is essential, because when things get chaotic outside, our intuition actually heightens. The second thing that happens, sorry, I'm going to pass by a guy who's cutting grass. Thank you for cutting grass. I love all the people who help us clean our streets and help keep our landscapes beautiful. Just so thankful for that. Who would we be without them? Okay, what would this planet look like without them? Anyway, I digress. Okay, so the other thing that happens is not only does our intuition get nice and clean and heightened, and we start to ground, what happens is we also start to be like, we start to say more, no more. We start to say, I don't want to be a part of that. Something happens that we are much clearer on what we won't do and what we won't engage in. Okay? So if you've been working a lot, especially on my channel, about listening to your clairs, your clairaudience, your claircognizance, your clairsentience, your clairvoyance, you will be in a place. I have a lot of people, lots of my folks, lots of my thought leaders are like, why am I so hermity? Why is nothing happening? Because hermiting is an action. Because the more of us that are grounding, I want you to think of polarity. The more electrical it gets out there, we need to do the other side of that. We need to calm the system, make it heavy, hold as a lighthouse as the waves are storming around us. It's the yin yang. We just need to have the balance. The balance. So again, we started with, let's recap a little bit, the prescription of how to handle your own anxiety. You know, do not watch the news. I know it feels like we're doing something. We're really not. We're really not. What it's doing is jacking up your nervous system. So, of course, find the place of trauma reactivation, because we always want to use it as an opportunity to heal the trigger. An opportunity, remember, thank you triggers, to find the trigger. So I think I'm going to call this vlog series Thank You Triggers, because it's all been about triggers, and there's more coming. Okay, so again, right? Weighted blankets, pillows, weight. It's not really massages, it's like pressing down. Bowls of rice, heavy. Now this doesn't mean like like hit McDonald's every day to feel heavy. I'm not saying it that way, because that can start like a loop of negative self-talk or feeling bad about yourself, whatever. Again, zero judgment. Whatever feels like is going to make you heavy, what I recommend is a bowl of white rice or a bowl of brown rice, some delicious veggies and protein on top. Slice up an avocado, you're good to go. Okay, for humanity's sake, because it's going to get pretty volatile, and as many people as you can gather around you, I'm going to gather some folks, you'll see. I'm going to start announcing that. We want to hold. We want a lighthouse. We want to provide polarity, because if all of us are getting super hyper electrical, if all of our Coke bottles are just exploding, or champagne bottles are exploding into effervescence, spastically, that's not where we want to be during what's going to come up next. And again, remember I told you I'm going to be posting more to help ground. Not only you, I ground myself. I ground myself as I talk about these things out loud. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next vlog.